Have you ever stood in a place where you could feel the weight of centuries pressing in on you? A city where the very stones seem to whisper stories of kings, prophets, and empires? Today, we journey to a city that is more than just a place on a map. It is an idea, a symbol, a holy ground for billions. This is Jerusalem, a city where heaven touches earth, and where its story is, in many ways, the world's story. For thousands of years, this single city has been a spiritual magnet, a center of faith, a battlefield of empires, and a beacon of hope. To understand Jerusalem is to understand a crucial part of our shared human history. So let us peel back the layers and explore the profound historical and cultural significance of this extraordinary city. Our story begins over 5,000 years ago, not with grand temples or massive walls, but with a humble settlement atop the Judean hills. Long before it was known as Jerusalem, it was a Canaanite stronghold, likely called Ur-Salim, meaning foundation of Shalem, a Canaanite god of dusk. Its location was its destiny. Perched on a ridge between the Mediterranean Sea and the Dead Sea, it was a natural fortress and a strategic crossroads for ancient trade and military routes connecting Africa, Asia, and Europe. This wasn't just any piece of land. It was a high-value piece of real estate that empires would covet for millennia. The Gihon Spring, its primary water source, made life possible in this arid landscape, turning a defensible hilltop into a viable, permanent home. It was from these ancient Canaanite roots that one of the world's most significant cities would grow, setting the stage for a history unlike any other. The true essence of Jerusalem lies in its sacred layers, where the divine narratives of three major world religions converge and overlap. For Judaism, this is the heart of existence. Around 1000 BCE, King David conquered the city and made it the capital of his kingdom. His son, King Solomon, built the first temple here, a physical home for God on earth, making Jerusalem the undisputed center of Jewish spiritual life. The Western Wall, a remnant of the Second Temple complex, is a testament to this deep, unbreakable bond, a place of prayer and pilgrimage for Jews worldwide who face Jerusalem when they pray mourning its destruction and yearning for its restoration. Then, Christianity was born from this Jewish world. Jerusalem is the stage for the final, most dramatic acts of Jesus' life. He walked its streets, taught in the temple, shared the Last Supper, and according to Christian belief, was crucified on a hill just outside its walls and resurrected from a nearby tomb. Sites like the Church of the Holy Sepulchre are among the most hallowed places in Christendom, drawing pilgrims who want to walk in the footsteps of their Savior. The city became a foundational pillar of Christian faith, a symbol of suffering, redemption, and ultimate salvation. Centuries later, Islam added its own profound layer of sanctity. For Muslims, Jerusalem, or Al-Quds, the Holy, is the third holiest city after Mecca and Medina. It was the first Qibla, the direction Muslims faced for prayer, before it was changed to Mecca. More significantly, it is the site of the Prophet Muhammad's miraculous night journey, the Isra and Miraj, where he ascended to the heavens from the very rock where the Jewish temples once stood. Today, the magnificent dome of the rock and the Al-Aqsa Mosque stand on this noble sanctuary, known as the Haram al-Sharif, marking a spot of immense spiritual power and a cornerstone of Islamic faith and identity. These three distinct but intertwined narratives have soaked the very soil of the city, making every alleyway and every stone a living testament to faith. With such profound spiritual significance, it's no surprise that Jerusalem became a prize for empires and a flashpoint for conflict. Its history is a long, often brutal saga of conquest and reconquest. After King Solomon, the city fell to the Babylonians, who destroyed the first temple and sent the Jewish people into exile. They returned, rebuilt, and lived under Persian and then Greek rule. Then came the Romans, whose control led to the Great Jewish Revolt and the catastrophic destruction of the Second Temple in 70 CE, an event that reshaped Judaism forever. The city was remade as a Roman pagan city, Aelia Capitolina. Later, the Byzantine Empire made it a Christian capital, building churches and monasteries. Then, in the 7th century, Muslim armies arrived, bringing the city under Islamic rule for the first time. This era saw the construction of the Dome of the Rock and Al-Aqsa Mosque. But the struggle was far from over. The Crusades saw European Christian knights launch bloody campaigns to reclaim the Holy Land, leading to centuries of warfare. Following the Crusades, the city was ruled by the Mamluks, and then for 400 years by the Ottoman Empire, which gave the old city the iconic walls we see today. Each empire left its mark, architecturally, culturally, and demographically, creating the complex, multi-layered city we see today. This cycle of conquest and change underscores a central theme in Jerusalem's history. It is a city deeply loved and deeply fought over. The collapse of the Ottoman Empire after World War I ushered in Jerusalem's modern era, and with it, a new chapter of conflict. The British Mandate period saw rising tensions between the growing Jewish immigrant population and the resident Arab community. The dream of a Jewish national home clashed with the aspirations for Arab independence. In 1947, the United Nations Partition Plan proposed making Jerusalem an international city, separate from both a proposed Jewish and Arab state, but this plan was never realized. The 1948 war resulted in the city being divided, West Jerusalem under Israeli control, and East Jerusalem, including the Old City, under Jordanian control. For nearly 2 decades, walls and barbed wire split the ancient city. The Six-Day War in 1967 changed everything. Israeli forces captured East Jerusalem, and the city was reunified under Israeli sovereignty. For many Jews, it was a moment of profound historical and religious fulfillment, allowing them access to the Western Wall for the first time in 19 years. For Palestinians, however, it marked the beginning of a military occupation and a continued struggle for self-determination, with East Jerusalem envisioned as the capital of their future state. Today, Jerusalem remains one of the most sensitive issues in the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. It is a city of competing claims and dual narratives, a vibrant, living heritage for both peoples, but also a symbol of their unresolved dispute. Navigating the modern reality of Jerusalem means acknowledging these deeply held, often conflicting, attachments. So, how do we make sense of a city like Jerusalem? A place that embodies the highest aspirations of the human spirit, yet has also witnessed so much of its sorrow. It's a city of immense beauty and heartbreaking division, of shared history and contested memory. Understanding Jerusalem isn't about picking a side or declaring one narrative true and the others false. It requires something far more difficult: empathy. It requires listening to the Jewish voice that speaks of 3,000 years of continuous connection, of exile and return. It requires hearing the Christian voice that echoes with the footsteps of Jesus and the birth of a global faith. And it requires acknowledging the Muslim voice that reveres Al-Quds as a sanctuary of divine revelation. Jerusalem's story is not a single, simple tale. It's a chorus of different voices, a mosaic of different faiths, and a timeline of different empires, all layered on top of one another. The city challenges us to hold multiple truths at once. It reminds us that history is not just in the past. It is a living force that shapes our present and our future. To truly appreciate Jerusalem, we must see it not just as a prize to be won, but as a shared inheritance to be respected. Its future depends on whether its people, and the world, can learn to hear all of its voices. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey through the history of Jerusalem. It's a topic of incredible depth, and we've only just scratched the surface. If you found this video insightful, please give it a thumbs up, and consider subscribing for more explorations into the stories that have shaped our world. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. See you in the next one.